As you may have guessed, or if you read the title, you probably already know, we are not working on the Toyota today. We're going to be working on the tow rig, or the daily, the big green Duramax. Uh, it's my daily driver. It's not really a tow rig. Anyways, we're going to be doing some oil, transfer case, and diff fluids. All of that today. I figured I would just take you guys along for the ride. This isn't a how-to, it's just how I do. Hopefully it's a short video. Hopefully it's an entertaining video. That's all I got. Let's get started. So I figured that I will go ahead and do a quick rundown on what the truck actually is. It is a 2004 GMC 2500 HD, the 6.6 Duramax LLY. Like I said, we're just going to do fluids basically in this video, maybe some other maintenance items. The big one is we're going to put Caterpillar filters on here, so that way I can do my maintenance at longer intervals. Because those of you that know me know I do not like to do the maintenance. And those of you that don't know me will probably learn that I don't like to do the maintenance. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and drop that drain plug over there. And then there's one also on the transmission pan over here. And then this filter, and we'll go ahead and drop all those. Drain both fluids. I'll probably do the engine oil first, and then empty out my jug, and then do the trans fluid and empty out the jug again. That way I'm not creating some kind of gelatinous blob in there that might grow up to attack me one day. Yeah, I'm gonna go with gloves. Never mind. I'm faster than the oil. Oh yeah, told you. There's also an oil filter up there that you guys can't see right now, but trust me, it's up there. Oh no, I left the thing in there. Definitely should have worn gloves. God dang, I'm stupid. And so that oil filter is right there. So once all that fluid drains out of the pan, I'm going to go ahead and move the bucket over and unscrew that guy. And any of you that have a Duramax, or, well, diesel in general, really, I highly recommend investing in these Caterpillar filters, just because they have a higher capacity. And I can get them local, the GM stuff or whatever, local too, but I literally live down the street from a Caterpillar dealer, so. Caterpillar dealer. I have one for my oil here. Then I also have a fuel filter. And then if I can move it back here, I don't know if you guys will be able to see that in the sun. Those two guys right there, that's a water separator and a fuel filter as well. So we'll be replacing those as well. So don't mind my dirty interior here. So these are the filters. Again, I just order them from the local Caterpillar dealer. God, that's hard to say. I can't even open a plastic bag right now. So I get them on wheel call, go up there, pick them up the next day. This is going to be our oil filter, so there's a part number if you want to swap it over. I think it's LB7, LLY, and LBZ. This would be your part number. For your fuel filter, you need an adapter. I can't remember where I got mine from, but you get an adapter and you can run this part number. The guy I bought it from, I know he has them for at least Dodge and GM. I'm not sure about Ford. And then here's our water separator. That's going to be for the lift pump, which utilizes the same fuel filter. So we're going to be swapping all these out. I think it was like $100 in filters alone. So when they say that diesels are expensive, that's what they're talking about. Because honestly, this truck has cost me the same in maintenance as my prior gas truck. So other than these guys, but again, you don't need to go with cat filters. Hopefully that helps somebody out. Now let me put my safety specs on. There we go. Oh my God. Oh, that's on there. Oh, that's on there. I know you could probably invest in some sort of filter wrench, but I use these big guys right here. And it's probably not going to work this time because I said I use it. I'm pretty sure this filter alone holds like an extra quart. All right, so while that's still draining, this is the oil that I use. Shell Rotella T6, full synthetic, 15W40. I never remember what I'm supposed to use, so I always Google it. Anyways, it's almost done draining, so we're gonna go ahead and throw this new filter on. All right, back up top side, and go ahead and fill up our oil here. That way I can use these jugs to put my old oil in, and I don't have to worry about dumping it into Mother Nature. And so what I normally do is I will dump basically 2 gallons in there, which sounds like a lot. And then check where I'm at, because again, it's supposed to hold between 9 and 10 quarts with that extended filter on there. So I'll dump all of it in and then check, and I have my 3rd gallon over there that I can add the extra 2 quarts out of. Not even on there yet. Probably because it hasn't been turned over. Whoops. That's good for now. I'm going to go ahead and dump this used oil into, I'm going to dump all that used oil into these jugs, being extra careful that I don't get any in the environment, and then come back and drain the trans. We're going to go ahead and fill our trans. The filler port is the same as the dipstick tube. So we're going to go ahead and pop that off and then actually check our fluid. So our quantity is going to be 7.5 quarts since I didn't do the internal filter. However, I'm going to put probably 4 out of this one and 2 out of the other gallon I have. Start it up, let it spin for a second, and then shut it back down. Put the other 2 in. Just because I don't think I got all the fluid out of there. I don't know why I'm putting that back in. So I'm going to check it and then probably do this like 5 more times before I get it right. So I'll save you guys the trouble and come back when it is done. All right, so I'm actually going to go ahead and start up here at the front. There's a little bleeder screw back here. I'm used to bleed the system. If you were to ever crack a line, you could pump this pump right here and it bleeds out the air because it's not quite the same as a gasoline vehicle where you just crack a line and you can close it and crank on it a few times and it'll start up. You actually need to get all of the air out of the system before starting it. So I'm going to crack that to hopefully bleed off the pressure that's on the filters in the back and on this one down here, if you can kind of see it tucked down in there. Take the pressure off of those so that I can go ahead and take them off without getting sprayed in the face with diesel. If you do this at home, I do not recommend mixing this with weed killer and spraying it on your weeds, because it kills everything. So yeah, you don't want to do, oh God, you don't want to do that. Probably could have saved that. But, oh well. Now, that's going to be all over me for the rest of my life. All right, so that was the water separator. I thought there was supposed to be an O-ring in there, but I guess not. I can't even see what I'm doing. Airplane. I don't know if you guys can see that little boss right there. That's why I put the O-ring. And when I threaded the water separator on there, the O-ring on the water separator itself did not seat against the fuel pump. Alright, so that's the auxiliary stuff. Now I can go ahead and head up to the main fuel filter up at the front. Basically the same thing. I don't know how hard it is going to be to film in there, so I don't know if I'm going to. But it's the same thing. You thread it off and then you thread the new one on. So either you'll see it or you won't. Either way, I'll see you in a few. Alright, so you can see our other filter in there. I'm going to go ahead and swap it out. I'm not going to record it, maybe just time lapse, because, well, it's kind of tight in there. If you actually have an inner fender liner, you got to pop it out. Mine fell out when I was driving one time and I never put it back in. Although I do want to get a new one because you can see how dirty it is up in there. So anyways, going to go ahead and swap that out and then come back. All right, you can see nice clean filter in there. Wires are still dangling, so I got to put those back. Came up top, ended up bleeding the filter head. Now let's go ahead and see if it will start. We should hear the fast pump prime down here at the bottom. Oh man, it looks like something splashed all over my truck. Probably me just not drying it. All right. Let's see if we can hear it. All right, I can hear it. That should fill up. Maybe, I don't know. And let's see if it'll start. Last thing we need to do is go ahead, or at least last thing for the oil, is go ahead and come up here and reset our oil light. So let's see, key on, 1, 2, 3, maybe. Oil life reset. All right, cool. All right, so all you need to do, accelerator key to on without starting, accelerator pedal 3 times, and then hopefully that will reset it. All right, I think that's going to be it for today. Ran out of time. So I'll do the the transfer case and diffs tomorrow probably. All right, we are back out on the big truck getting the servicing knocked out. I did take a day break just because I needed to get a tool as well as the fluid to fill the front and rear diffs. But now we got all that stuff. We're going to go ahead and get back on the transfer case and diff fluid change. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start on our transfer case first. It takes, I think it's Dex Mercon something or other ATF fluid. All we're going to do is drain it from this drain plug here and then fill it from the fill plug up there. And once fluid starts to come out of the fill plug, we know it's good. It should take about 2 quarts. Again, this is a how I do, not a how to. So
think I caught it on time lapse, but not very much fluid came out of there. I had a hunch that this had been leaking for a while. So maybe in the future, I'll probably need to get it rebuilt, especially if I want it to last another 250,000 miles. But maybe like half a quart came out of there. So. All right, so you can see it draining out of that fill hole up there, the fluid running down. I ended up making a little funnel adapter out of some fuel hose. You can see here, I just heated up the hose and shoved it on the end of the funnel so that way I could hold the funnel up a little bit higher and I wasn't fighting with it the whole time. Anyways, now that it is coming out of that drain hole, I think I put 2 quarts in there, and then once I pulled the hose out, it started pouring out. So probably only needed like, I don't know, 1 3/4 of one of those things. Anyways, now that it's all put back together, I'll go ahead and clean it up a little bit. That way I can see if there is a leak coming from somewhere around here. Because again, only like not even a quart came out. Probably like a half a quart came out when I pulled the drain. Anyways, go ahead and do that, and then we'll move on to the diffs. All right, so very similar to our transfer case, we're going to go ahead and drain it out of our drain plug here. And then once it's all out, we're going to replace that and then fill it out of the fill port until it starts overflowing. And once it starts to overflow, we know we're good. And we'll go ahead and call it there and move on to the back. Just got to be faster than the oil here. But I did wear gloves this time. So hopefully fluid actually comes out of here. I thought that was a giant chunk of metal. You can see there is some metal on there, but I thought that was like a giant piece of metal. But that's just a magnet. I'll go wipe that off real quick. More fluid has come out of here than that came out of my entire transfer case. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. All right, so we've got our drain plug back in, all the metal shavings shoved back in there, and now we're going to go ahead and fill through our fill port until it comes out. All right, so I bought a tool to do this right here, actually. I bought this fancy tool to pump in the fluid, but it doesn't fit in the bottle. So we're going to see if I can do it the old-fashioned way or if I'm going to have to modify something. That's not going to work. There's still like half a bottle in there. Okay. I'm going to go see if I can fix this bottle up right and figure something out. All right, so here is the concoction thing that I kind of came up with. I just cut the top off the bottle so that the pump would fit in there. And then there's a little clip up there that clips into the fill port. And then that way I could pump instead of trying to shove the bottle up in there like you guys saw before. So hopefully this works quite a bit better. Let me see if I can get it back where it was. So hopefully I could pump this fluid in there a lot nicer, a lot easier. Pump works great when it actually fits in the bottle. All right, so you can see it dripping out of there now. I'm going to go ahead and pull our hose out and then throw the fill plug back in. Reach my non-gloved hand in there, that's smart. All right, so same, but a little bit different back here. You can see right here is our fill plug. However, the drain plug is going to be down here underneath. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. So we're going to drain it from here, and then we're going to fill it same way up here until fluid comes out, and then we'll call it good.
All right, that is going to do it for the servicing on this truck. We did the engine oil, trans oil, fuel filters, diff oils, transfer case, a bunch of the servicing that I had been neglecting for a while. But now, since I'm going to be pulling a bigger trailer, I want to make sure I keep up with it. Thanks for hanging out in the shop with me. I know this one is probably a little bit more boring than the usual little truck stuff. Maybe some people like it that way. Maybe some people don't like it. If you're just joining out for this one, if you just are new to the channel, please go back and check out the other videos. We do have this 1981 Toyota pickup here with the K-Series and some turbo goodies and whatnot. So go ahead and go back and check those ones out, as well as subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. Again, I know this one was a little bit different, probably more rambling, but I enjoyed it. So let me go ahead and clean everything up in here, and then we'll take it for a test drive real quick. Make sure I blow it up before I have to drive it to work, right? Just to make sure everything still works. I think it still works. Probably shouldn't have done that on a cold engine and trans, but you live and you learn. What did we do? Never left me stranded. Actually, that's not true. It's definitely left me stranded before. I don't know why I stepped out into the wind.
It uses, I think it's Dextron, Mercron, something Megatron 4. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I can't remember which fluid it uses.